First, we are trying to be as unbiased as we can, of course. Then we are only fact-checking the claims that can be fact-checked. So we are not fact-checking opinions, for example, because everyone can have their own opinion. We are also always providing sources for our fact checks, especially from the scientific papers, from the other fact-checking organizations, etc. So from reliable sources only, because we must show from what source we have certain information, and we are showing people how we are fact-checking things. So, for example, by reverse image search, reverse image search allowed us to find, for example, picture from 10 years ago, so we know that it's an old picture and not new one, for example, and we are trying to show other people how we're doing. So we have done this, so they can do this themselves, or they just know how we do things. It's just not out from the thin air. It's some kind of methodology that we are working with, certain techniques that we use to fact check certain claims. It's not understanding how, I don't know, OSINT technique works, etc., etc. The most important thing is to understand how to find reliable sources, what to do with information. If you get some kind of information and it's emotional, first you should stop and think why it did make you emotional or evoke certain emotions. Because maybe someone intentionally created this message in this way that your reactions are very emotional. Also, how the cognitive biases works. It is also important to understand how our own brain sometimes works and why we believe certain things. And of course, manipulation techniques, for example, that are used to manipulate audience in certain way. Because if you understand those things, it's easier to see them when politicians are talking and the messages that are on the internet, especially on social media. That's in many cases someone using this manipulation technique to steer your worldview in a certain way, basically. So those are, I believe, the most important things. Because if you understand those things, you can basically fact check things on your own. So you don't need special techniques to do this. You just need critical thinking in the first place.